So as you can see, I have a thing for alcohol markers, and today I'm going to be showing a full length, no time lapse tutorial of how to draw a rainbow fairy, draw and color and shade from scratch. This is an oldie but goodie, and I can't wait to share it with you today. And I want to talk about alcohol markers because I don't talk about them on this channel, specifically as they relate to mixed media. They're babies. They don't like to be mixed with pretty much anything. They can't be layered over anything. It's like they're very limited. So it is a good thing to come up in conversation and to clarify, because I know they're very popular. They can be very affordable. The ones that you'll see me using in this tutorial are Art Beak. They're like 50 cents a marker. So if you've ever wanted to actually just try them out without buying like an $8 Copic, the Art Beaks I do totally recommend. I can share with you a whole supply review that I've done before. I'll pop the link below in the description box for you, but they are great. They're super juicy. That's what you'll see me using today. But back to mixed media. They work well when they're the bottom layer only. So don't put them over gesso. Don't put them over your acrylics. The ink can actually eat through your acrylics. So that's why they're not great for all mixed media projects unless they're the bottom layer. And then there's about 3 products that I recommend putting on top for awesome results. First of all, colored pencils work great, and they're actually very similar to watercolors in that, like, you can't put watercolors over acrylic. Same thing with markers, but colored pencils work great on top, just like colored pencils also work great on top of watercolors for the same reasons, like adding detail, refining any areas that don't look awesome. So the same way. Another product that works really great is regular ink, as long as it's not acrylic ink. So you like pigment pens are fine, water soluble, anything is fine. So all like your dye-based markers, they're fine. They actually don't talk to each other at all. That being said, if you're outlining anything first before you color it in, which I do all the time, again, you need to stay away from, interestingly enough, Sharpies, because traditional Sharpies are alcohol-based inks as well, and other alcohol inks will blend them out, so they'll smear. So if you're going to be fine lining first, you want to make sure, it'll also smear your graphite. So it's always good to erase before you add. I know they don't play well with others. They really don't. So make sure you're erasing your graphite. And I'm going to show you this in today's projects as well. So you want to use fine liners that are pigment based. I use Molitor fine liners or water soluble based, water based. So, which is great because all of your like cheap dye based markers like Tombows, most fine liners are all water soluble. Those all make awesome outlining things when you're using alcohol markers. And if you're using a water-based product like the dye-based fine liners I was just talking about, they literally don't see each other. So there will absolutely be no bleeding. I use Molitors. There can be bleeding a tiny bit with pigment-based markers, which the Molitor ones are, as are like micron pens. So you do need to make sure that ink is like really truly dry. But water-soluble markers, you don't. They don't talk to each other. So it's super interesting. And then a third product that works well over alcohol markers also is pan pastels, which works similarly to your colored pencils in terms of smoothing things out. The only kind of snafu there is that pan pastels and pastels in general need tooth on the paper in order to really work. And alcohol markers, also, they're very funny about paper. You have to use Bristol or like a smooth cardstock or marker paper. Those are your only 3 choices, and cardstock is really just Bristol, really anyways. So I have an awesome Bristol alternative that is dirt cheap, and I will put this full lesson, which will include a bonus section, a little bonus snippet on additional shading. I will put this complete supply list, the books that I'm using to reference, the marker colors and everything along with this lesson and the reference in my Neat Suite for anybody who wants to go and do this as a proper lesson and just have all the things, especially the reference. It'll be in my Neat Suite. I have a coupon code in the description for anybody who wants to join that. It's $6 a month with my coupon code, and I update it 4 times a week, adding new things all the time. My club members, if you're watching, hi. I love you so much. You get the Neat Suite free. So you can just log in and go to the reference vault. It's the vault. It's the first section is cheat sheets. The second section is all my YouTube videos sorted, over 650. And then the bottom is called the reference vault. And anytime I'm doing a full length tutorial like I am today, you can go there and grab the references and supply lists, etc. All right, so let's dive in. I hope you enjoy drawing with me. Drawing is actually my jam. Out of my 3 memberships, my drawing club has always been the biggest since its inception in 2018. I just don't have time to do everything here on YouTube. I'm really strapped for time between my 3 clubs and my 3 kids. If you want more drawing in your life, you can check out the Fun Fab Drawing Club or any of my other clubs. I'll put links below with the Neat Suite. For any of you who are just following along on YouTube, I appreciate you so much and enjoy life as you want. Because this is a full-length tutorial too, there's no time lapse and you don't need to buy anything. You can simply follow and draw along. All you need is a pencil. And if you want to use alcohol markers, you can just use similar colors to mine. It doesn't have to be any brand, and that goes for anything I'm using ever. Just use what you have always. And most of all, just enjoy, have fun. All right, happy arting. But we are gonna start with simply a pencil and a piece of cardstock. So get that ready and meet me at your art table. All right, so let's draw. I'm working on Bristol. I have a really cheap Bristol alternative. I will link that up in the free classroom for you guys as well. So here's our reference. Again, the artist and everything is listed in the free classroom. Okay, so I'm gonna turn to page, as I was just saying, 209 to get started. This is how to draw and find your style. This is the Bible of face drawings. So as we noticed with 3/4 portrait, as I say here, the first thing to note is these swooping lines. So we have these angles and they really stay true. It's fascinating. You have this sort of slopey for the forehead and this nose dip. This dip here occurs both at the nose and at the eye. So I love this. It's so interesting. And then we have this sort of swoop down here and then up for the jawline. So we're having the same thing. Now this is mirrored. We're doing the opposite direction. But as you can see here, we have that swooped in line at the nose, swooped in line at the eyes, right? We have this going up, we have this coming back, and the jawline goes up. So even though these are exaggerated, not realistic features, you still have these angles and this swoop that will always remain true. So we're gonna go step by step. This is page 210. If you're following along in the book, we're gonna start with a circle. Okay, so I'm just using a mechanical pencil. You can use whatever your favorite pencil is. Literally doesn't matter. So we're gonna start with an oval. I'm sorry, a circle. You can even trace something. I always brag to my kids when they tell me I'm dumb. I have 3 teenagers, so I'm told that I'm not super smart a lot. So I'm like, yeah, I can draw a circle. And then now I'm like, oh God, I can draw a circle. Anyways, so a circle, take that, boys. Okay, now we have to do that. We're gonna do like a V shape. So we're gonna do, coming off of the edge here, we're gonna come do a swoop down like this. And then we have a little curve for the chin. Actually, I think it's a little bit more like this. And then we have this line goes, I usually swing it up here and then meet it back. And you see how I have a whole ton of lines? That's fine. You don't erase anything, just keep drawing. If you're looking and you're like, that's not quite right, feel free to just keep drawing until you are sensing that you might be more accurate. Sometimes I draw 55 lines before I do any erasing. That is totally fine. But we have this circle and then we have a V shape coming off of that circle. Right away, we can actually pop in her neck and her neck over here. Now her ear is amazing, obviously, but before we get to her ear, we need to put in our guidelines here. So this is from page 211. Okay, so at the intersection of the circle and this V shape, we're gonna put a line like this. And it goes sweeping up in this direction. So there's one here, and then there's one halfway here, and then halfway here, okay? It's just the forward facing where you have eye line, and then halfway between the eye line and the chin is the nose line, halfway between the nose line and the chin is the mouth line, okay? And if you're starting to get a little confused, then go ahead and you can take out some of these. That is fine. And things are never finalized. You can make changes at any time throughout the drawing process. That is completely fine. Okay, so now we're gonna have that little indentation that we talked about first at the eye line. So we're gonna put a little indent there, okay? And we need to start putting in our little oval shapes for the facial features, and that's gonna be on page 212. So the second essential line is if this was a forward facing, right, you have a vertical line down the center. So now when we do a vertical, we are doing one this way. We're slicing the nose in half and the mouth in half and the chin in half. And then we need to go and draw that in over here. Okay, so we're gonna do a line like this. And if it's helpful for you, sometimes it's helpful if you take a piece of tracing paper, you go find some real quick and you hold it over her. If you want to find it on a piece of trace paper first, that can help you gauge whether or not you have it here. But I also don't worry about it too much. The more I vary from the reference, the more I'm making this my own. So I actually love it when I'm not accurate. That's not what we're going for here. We're just making we are looking to create a beautiful fairy face. So we don't care if it's exactly like the reference. Actually don't care whatsoever. All right, so we have this little indentation. There's lots of different ways to use a reference, and being perfect is only one of many ways, okay? So then we have this, going towards, this line is the same as this line. So we have an indent here, oh, hello. And then we have an indent right next door to it. We come down, and then we'll come up. And then right around here we have this, we're gonna have an oval, just like we have an oval on the forward facing face, we're gonna have an oval here as well. Here, and then here is her nostril. It literally, you really are using the oval to create the nose. And then we have this little lip indentation right here, which is where the top of, you can see that's right where this meets. Right there, so we're, okay, thank you. Thanks so much, found that for us. And then we're gonna come here, we're gonna come down and up. Oop, maybe not as big as that. And then like this. And then the bottom shape comes down and then up like this. Okay, boo, 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 and up like this. Okay, and then the eyes, which is huge eyes. So it's really important that this one, which comes right out of the nose bridge, is super squished. That's very normal, okay? So make this squished. I notice these are upturned, and out of it comes this eyebrow, okay? There's like the lid, and then her ginormo lashes, which I cannot wait to draw. And then we have her kind of pupil and iris here. And then sometimes finding this eye is a little bit more daunting, but basically you have to like gauge this space. So you have this line, which we already have in. Then as you can see here, we have the space for the nose bridge, which is about here. Okay. There, and then that's how we actually find her eyebrow, which I love her little eyebrow shape. It's very unique. Okay, and then there's a space downward, and we're gonna locate it based on its relationship to the nose bridge and that far eye. There's a little V here, and then it's, woo, big eyeballs. and big eyeballs here and there. And her eyes are enormous. We have our little pupil and her iris here. And then we have our top lid is a line just above the eye. And then these, again, humongo lids. And just a couple there and a couple here. Okay, and this is the part where we zoom out and we assess. And notice I haven't erased anything. It's super messy. There's all my guidelines in there. Those guidelines are imperative. So we really need to leave them in there until we're sure we have everything the way that it needs to be. And we also have to locate her ear. You know what's funny is that don't these look like they're actually creating that ear shape? So let's go ahead and use that actually, except that they're a little bit closer. So let's see, here's her eye. Yeah, so let's just borrow these lines. I already have them here, so might as well just grab them and go. And then this should line up with about the mouth, which is about here. All right, look at that. And then there's some thickness. There's a whole lot of stuff going on in her ear. And in addition to her earrings, there's all sorts of convoluted things. So we can expound upon that whenever we want to. Don't get too caught up in the ear business. All right, so when we think we have her as we want her, we can start erasing, but let's just really quick sketch in her hair. So the hair is gonna come down into that original circle for the top. And I love all the swoopies here, swoopy, whee! And then we can have some real, oh, I didn't even see the swirls over here until now. I do love that about art. It makes you really focus in. And then there's swirlies and swirly bits and all the things. All right, cool. Now it's at this point where we can erase. So I'm gonna go off camera erase because that's super boring. When we come back, we'll start coloring. I erased everything. As you can see, there's still darky places where I've smudged the graphite a ton. So that's not awesome for markers. So take as long as you need to get rid of some of that smudginess. Because graphite, and actually it does smudge a lot with markers. So I'm actually gonna erase quite a bit of that because I don't want my markers to be blending out and smudging all of this graphite because it totally will. Also, huge hot tip, do not use, if you're gonna be doing your outlines first, don't use Sharpies because they are alcohol markers and they will bleed, they will blend. They work too well, which is why they blend with the other one. So you have two choices. You can either outline last, but if you're gonna outline first, use a water-based or pigmented fine liner. So any fine liner, almost 99% of fine liners are water-based, so you should be good. My favorite brand, Copics are really expensive, so I don't recommend them. My favorite brand are the Molotow. I like buy them all and test them all out so I can tell you my actual best suggestions. These Molotows are my favorite, and they do not bleed. They're made with permanent pigment ink. You can't read that. See how they're water-based pigmented? That's what you want. They don't interact with your alcohol markers in any way, shape, or form. So I can totally outline her first and then color her in with the markers on top. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna outline everything. I'm not gonna record this part because that's really boring, but this is what I'm doing. I'm going to be taking this is a 0.5, and I'm going to be outlining all of her. Okay, so you at home should be doing the exact same thing. Oh, hot tip. For doing these little designs, don't really care if I copy them exactly or not, but use a stencil. Stencil is a great way to help you come up with shapes
and to be super accurate. So you can use the the stencil to make some fun designs here. I thought we could like put this on her, and I have no idea where I got this stencil, but look through your stencil stash. This is a side effect of being a mixed media artist, is I have all these fun little stencil shapes, but that way you don't have to do anything perfectly. You have these things that can help you to draw, and then you can take some ideas from the reference and some ideas from your stencil and come up with a cool combo of things. But here, okay, so I'm gonna outline everything. Come right back to me when you're done outlining and we'll color her in. So I'm almost done. I would just show you my process here. I did not do the eyelashes, okay, and I'm doing real kind of loose, wavy lines here for the hair, because those are really gonna be in color and not all outlined so perfectly anyways. And then once it's all outlined, oh, you know what I forgot was her ear. I don't even know what is happening in her ear, really. We can then take our eraser and really erase. I can't stress this enough. Those markers will take your graphite and really make it ugly if we don't get rid of that first. Oh, I can't wait to dive into these alcohol markers. So get rid of all extraneous graphite. Okie dokie. And that's all done. Okay, we can just get rid of that. Take 3 shades in the same color family. So it's very simple to do. So again, you could do light, medium, dark. 26, 25, 107 would be great. Let's just go ahead and do that since we have them out. So I'm gonna start with the lightest color, which is 26. And I'm gonna do it all over the face. Oh, I forgot her little thingamajiggy up there. I'll do it afterwards. So I don't really know what I want that to look like yet. So when you are doing, see, this is the only time I use a chisel is if this is a huge space. This is a really big piece of paper that her face is as big as my big hand. So the only time I use the chisel is when I need to cover a lot of ground. With alcohol markers, you move very quickly. Now I can go over my markers, my outline, because my fine liner outlines are in water-based ink that's not going to smear. And that's why I have those. And again, all the links to everything are in the classroom. Just going to run over everything. I'm moving very quickly. So alcohol markers are really more akin to painting than to coloring with dry mediums. So you move quickly because it helps them to blend with one another. And I love markers because they really bring out my inner 8-year-old. Color satisfaction, it's like immediate. It's just fun and it makes sense immediately. And you really, I'm gonna switch to the brush nib. Yeah, I really like how springy that brush nib is. It's actually, I can't tell what is the decorative thing and what is the ear thing. What is that? I don't even know. Can't tell what I did. What? I don't know. Okay, so that's that. And then we have to do her neck. Either chisel or brush would be fine. Yeah, so chisel nib, I think I mentioned before, I only use about 5% of the time, and it's only for big drawings like this. It's a really big drawing. Otherwise, it's just you're here all day. And I don't have all day, as a matter of fact. Okay, if you get a ton of streaking, you just do the same exact coat over it in the opposite direction. So I went this way, the first direction. If I want to do a second coat, I would do the whole second coat this way, and it would completely eliminate the streaks. So what did I say I was going to do next? That was 26. The next darkest, I kind of like this yellowy thing that we're going with. So I'm going to do, I will change my mind and I will do 142. Will I? There's so many choices. Or I could do 134. I'll do 142. There's a big step between the next layers. You can do smaller steps, meaning like this is just a tiny bit darker than this one. So if you're feeling shy, go from 26 to 134, meaning keep the colors really similar to one another. Where's 134? Why can't I find it? Oh, there it is. So this is where your reference comes in handy. Grab your reference, and we're going to do the second layer in the areas where we see the shading. So I see it up here on her forehead. So let's see, kind of like this. Oop. All the way here. And see how it's really similar to the first color? So if you're scared, it's okay to shade in baby steps. And that's when you have a low contrast or the colors are really similar to one another. That's perfectly fine. Just go slowly but surely. I'm gonna wrap some around this eye. Okay, here. And then we're gonna go here under this eye. And it looks like on the nose. And then on this side, it definitely is shaded. So we're just gonna do this whole side. I'm ecstatic about these markers. These are great. I'm actually very pleasantly surprised. I've been disappointed. I am always a little bit loath to accept free art supplies in return for reviews, because what I'm afraid that the companies don't realize is if I don't like their product, I will tell you that. And so I always want to be like, yeah, but just so you know, if I don't like it, I will let everyone know that. But I really do like these. I love the spring of the brush nib. The brush nib is everything to me. So here's a funny, so this is a shape that the shadow is making on her face. You have to actually draw that in. And again, we're going to keep moving quickly so everything blends nicely. But because we chose a color that's right next to each other, it's not scary to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to put some under here. And also her whole neck is super dark. So we're just going to slowly but surely go darker with these colors. But these two work great together. And again, if you're using a different art supply, that's cool. You can just use your art supply and do the same steps in colors. We need to go down one more. I'm going to go to 141 next, which is this kind of yellowy one. That's fine. And again, we're going to go one step. See how far we have to go? Woo! Now, I don't really care to copy this exactly, but if we do want some dramatic shading, I do want to show you how to go ahead and get it. Oh, I am in love with their springy brush nib. Ooh, better step up your game. I have to say, I like the brush nib better than the Ohuhus, which are stiff. And the reason I like Copics is that their brush nib is really springy. So is this one. Holy moly. Don't tell who I said that. I do really love their skin tone set though. It's so convenient to just put your hand in and grab the perfect color every time. So I'm going in the same regions I just did. I'm just gonna, oh, it's so wet over there. I'm just gonna leave a little bit more. See how I'm leaving the first layer exposed? I'm sorry, the second layer exposed. So let's see, we're gonna go inside the ear. I'm missing this part of her ear. There's like a squiggle that I don't have, which is this squiggle. Here we go. Something like that. I don't know why I'm obsessed with her ear. I don't even have it all right here. I don't know what I've even drawn. No idea. But here we go. Some things of some sort of shape are in there. Okay, and then again, every time we add a new color, we are going to hit the darkest shades again and again. Okay. All right, now what do we do? Wait, let's keep going. Look how dark that is. If we want to, we can. If you're like, oh my God, this is terrifying, then just stop. You do not have to go as crazy as me. If you don't want to, you really don't. But if you want to know how to do it, then you can just watch and do it later or whatever. But it's super fun to learn how. All right, let's do one more for all my brave students who are like, come on, let's do this. Okay, let's do 107 next. I'm just keeping track so I can remember. 107 is number 4. And I'll just have this one be the last one. So I love this bit of dark here. Oh, I went right into the eye, but actually her shading does go into the eye. So I'm going to put that in up here. All the way there. It's pretty much on this side too. It's also on the tip of her nose. And around the nostrils it goes. On this side of the nose, there's definitely a shadow. It's over here. Same thing under the mouth and around this side of the chin there is. Whoop. Yeah, this is all like that. We can continue that on the other side pretty much as well if we want to, but I'm going to start calling it a day with this just because we've done a lot and I want this to be more about, again, the drawing than all the shading. But essentially every time you add a darker color, you're leaving little bits of the ones before it exposed. And if you think, oh my God, the brush nibs are so yummy. Oh, thank goodness. I'm so glad I don't have to tell this company I don't like their stuff. I really am really happy. See? All right. If that's too jarring of a transition, you're like, yikes, I don't know what happened there. Add it a little bit more. Because usually everything on that side of the face will be darker. So I'll just go ahead and make it so. There's a little bit of highlight here. And then, yep. So what we can do is go back to the one before it, which was number 3. You have 2 choices. You can pick a new shade. Say you were like, it's too yellowy. You could go to a different shade, say like a peach, and do a swath of that. But that's a great way to get things to blend. Or you just back it up one. So the 3 was the one we did before, which was number 141. Why can I never find 141? Where are you? There you are. And go back and do this kind of in-between area again. And that will help blend these together a lot of times. My paper, I think, is saturated though and really very much done with me. But putting them in those in-between areas is definitely the way to go. All right, so I'm gonna move on with the hair. I'm just gonna willy-nilly grab some colors. All right, I'm gonna do the rainbow. I love the yellow and going through the rainbow here. I'm not gonna color test, nope, because I'm feeling crazy like that. So here is a pastel yellow. If you want to, just grab any also random sheet of paper and go for it. So using this sweeping line, God, I freaking love this brush nib. What? Now here's a hot tip. Use the real side. You see how I'm literally holding I'm not drawing like this. I'm holding it on the side because it gives it the maximum surface area so that it colors in 2 seconds. Okay? I don't have a lot of time, so I need life to go fast. And that is really helpful. So that was one yellow. Now I'm going to just grab an orange, just make sure there's no surprises. I will test it. But again, I'm turning my brush nib on its side so I can make this go super fast. And I'm starting at the root every time, okay? Because that also helps things to go really fast. See how fast we can get this hair done. That's that. Let's go to red. Ooh, do we do the, ooh, here's a rose red. How's that look? Looks good to me. Let's do it. This will be our rainbow fairy. And again, if you notice, I'm going back to the edge. And by the edge of the root, I don't know where the edge just came from. But see how thick I can do these lines? It takes me like no time whatsoever. Now I want to fill in, this is still white. I don't want any white. So this is a darker orange. So I want to fill this up till none of the white of the paper is showing through. For our amazing rainbow fairy. With her weird ear that I cannot explain. So now I'm like, wait, where did all of the yellow go? So now I'm going to go back to my yellow. And I'm going to fill in these parts with the yellow. We're going to start changing to green on this side. But over here, we're still working our way. Now try to keep back at the roots every time. All right, oh, what are we doing on here? We're gonna go that, and we're gonna make our way to pink. And then very quickly to purple. And I don't really like that pink, so I'm gonna stop there. Get my purple going, although I will do a few swishes. All right, I'm just grabbing random colors and I'm having so much fun. Woo! All right, let's go. Look how yummy that one is. Oh, you know what we don't have is any blue. Oh, I guess we have blue on the other side. And also on this side. Ooh, wee! Do the whole entire thing. And random color blue, just picking at random. Let's put them in here. Woo! Now we're talking. Yes. And then we also have some kind of, ooh, let's do her eyes too while we have this out. Ooh, let's see. I'm just gonna grab 3 shades, just judging by the caps. We'll do a cap test and see how well they do without swatching. I'm gonna zoom in and do the eyes. So I'm gonna do, let's see, the lightest color. Oh, so light it does, it's not even a color. What? That's 0 color. What is this one? It looks like the next one. I guess it did get it wet So there's some blending going on. Okay, and same thing over here. And then there was the darkest one. I love anything in this kind of greeny, bluey genre. It's always delicious, if you will. So it's darkest on the top, and then it goes to the medium, and then it goes to the, what's it called, lightest. Ew, and she looks gross. She needs some more black in her pupils, but I'll do her a little bit of a pit pen, which is yucky. All right, let's get back to hair business. We'll get back to her eyes in a second. Oh, I really like these colors so much. Oh, and there's even a fourth one. See how you just have these shades going from lighter to darker? So satisfying. Still at random, picking colors. We're back to the hair. This is a darker purple. Just totally getting inspired by the original artist. Whee! And I love how I'm going to have none of the paper showing. All right, now in here we have this deep kind of green. And this was what's going to make her face pop, is that this is going to be dark. Do one, and then another. And then we can start fading. This is so freeing. It's just like a lot of whee, and then you're good. Let's see, this was that same blue over here. I kind of want to smash the one shades into the next. Let me get this kind of covered up. There we go. I mean, I'm purposefully like spreading my marker. See, it looks bad if you have these short. You got to go right back up to the top. So if you notice, her areas around her face will be the darkest on purpose. And then let's start getting, where's like a green? Oh, here we go. It's like a green, a yellow green. There we go, yeah. Oh, markers are in the way. So it's like a halo of rainbow around her. This is ridiculous and also crazy, stupid fun. Ah, need more space to spread out my wings, my alcohol marker wings. Seriously, this is such a stupid amount of fun though. Really trying to cover all of the paper. No white left. And you wonder why I love markers so much. It's like instant playtime impact. Oh, her ear is like no color. I need to fix that. But see how I'm going back to her roots every time? I'm going back to my roots another day. I know, it's so crazy, I know, but it's so flipping fun as well. All right, we are getting our rainbow fairy fix. All the way around she goes. A little bit more blue. I'm literally just grabbing random colors, and so far I am super tickled, pleased by all of this fun. trying to fill in these. All the white must go. Here we go. So ridiculous and so fun. I can't believe how much space I'm requiring to do this exercise. I'm like, move it. I'm coming around. All right. Oh, all right. Let's just fine tune her amazing face. She is awesome. Taking a random red. Now we could have made her yellowy like the reference. It would definitely make sense since she is Rainbow Fairy. I'll wrap this up since I spent so many time whooshing her hair. So I didn't even stay in the lines. Good grief. Good grief, Karen. Oh, I'm so dumb. Her eyebrows. Let's see. Okay, just literally to set the record straight, I'm loving these. Maybe we need to do like a green eyebrow. Maybe we can do gray. What about a gray eyebrow? Is that weird? Yeah, to set the record straight, I love these markers. And for 40 freaking cents, are you even kidding me? They're juicy, their brush nibs are super soft, which I love. Yeah, I'm so happy I said yes to reviewing them. They're awesome. So the last little fun piece of fun is always the finishing up the eyes. And I always use my pocket pastel brush pen because it's my favorite, but I don't know where it ran off to. Oh, I gotta find my pen. I'll be right back. All right. Oh, look at our Rainbow Fairy. She's so cool. All right, you can skip this step that I'm gonna do now, but I'm gonna do it. I really want to capture a little bit more of the yellow. So I'm going back to my second layer color, which was 134. And I'm going to swish it this way. And this is a great way to, again, if there had been any streaking, this is how I would get rid of it. But I'm just gonna add it. To get a little bit more yellow going. We are moments from being done. There's also in eyes, in any eyes, fairy or otherwise, there's very little white of the eyes showing. It's generally always pretty shaded. And then we have our pocket pencil brush pen, which is this. This is I use it in every single project, no matter what I'm doing. So yes. Again, links are in the supply classroom, but I'm gonna do this. And she has some serious lash action, like more so than even my normal projects. So that's pretty sweet. And then she has just like a few on the bottom, not too many. Oh. Okay, there's that. And then we can do that on the other eye as well, where we just go shoo. So many. Now this is also the Molotow, where this is water-based, so it will not interfere with your markers, which is awesome. And then she'll have a couple individual little lower lashes. And then last but not least, oh, she looks crazy-eyed because she has a full, here, she's a full pupil over here and one over here too. So we'll make them match, and then we can, first we gotta make her eyelashes match as well. And then we can go in with the highlights. That always helps. Crazy eye syndrome, which is very common. And I'm also noticing that one of the reasons she looks so cool, 42, is that the whites of her eyes are like actually super shaded. So this was one of the darker shades that I was using to shade her face. This is color 142. And then you go in with your white marker or pencil or crayon, and then you add the lovely highlights into the eyes. And you can make them super sparkly this way. But that's like a little hot tip by adding all these little sparkles. You can also add like a little highlight on her nose right here. You can add one on her lower lip here. Her chin is pretty light anyways. Here and here. You can do one here. So many fun places that you can add highlights. You can also take your pocket pastel brush pen and add some extraneous lines and say, pull out the pieces of the hair. It wasn't outlined before, but you can use this to help make sense of some larger areas as well. And I could also outline her in this as well, but I like her. I actually like her like this. Yeah. And as I mentioned previously, the last 4 minutes, bonus shading tips and references and supplies list, etc. are over in the Nate Suite. The description box will have all the info for you. And if you want to check out the full-length Art Beak full review, you can check out the playlist on the left. And for a really fun 5-minute face, check out the video up on the right. Super fun. Happy drawing, happy arting, everyone. Thanks.